just a second as we're all preparing to go live. Okay, let's go to the governor now. Let's talk to Governor Cox, who's just been briefed.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. We're here in Beaver City, here in Beaver County, and I've got Commissioner Pearson here with us. We've got some of our fire crews. Commissioner Mason is here with us, DPS Commissioner as well. It's been a no good, very bad week here in the state of Utah. We've known the conditions were bad. We knew it was going to be a very difficult fire season. Knew it would start early, and sure enough, it has happened. I just have to say, this is one of it could be. We're still evaluating things. There's a very good chance that this is already the most destructive fire in the state's history. So that what that means is it's not the biggest fire in the state's history, but as far as property values, property loss, again, we don't. There are a lot of cabin owners, homeowners that are worried about that. We don't have details yet because the fire has been so destructive, because it's burning so hot and so fast. We haven't been able to get in and assess all of the loss there, but it's certainly catastrophic. We know that it's going to impact this community for a long time. Now, the good news, if you're looking for any, by the way, I want to say that was in 48 hours. So probably the most property destruction in our state's history in about 48 hours. Good news is that we didn't lose anybody. Nobody died. That's a miracle. It's incredible. I wish you could have seen all of the logos that were in that room, the people that worked together. Beaver City, of course, we have the county here. We have our state officials behind us. Department of Public Safety had a helicopter in there to get some hikers who were out, some campers who were out. We have the BLM and the Forest Service. Everything that they've got, were thrown at this. The sheriff here in Beaver County has been just phenomenal to work with. Search and rescue. All volunteer local search and rescue, volunteer firefighters. It's one of the most impressive responses I've ever seen. Now, I've been on fires for 12 years now. Every year I've been on major wildfires throughout the state of Utah. I've been on the front lines of wildfires since I was a county commissioner over public safety. I worked side by side with some of these people I've known for more than a decade working on these fires. I've never seen them this concerned. These are some of the toughest people I've ever met. I've never, honestly, I'll say scared. I've never seen them this scared, this worried about what's happening out there. People don't understand. It's not just dry. We've had dry years before. We've had drought before. It's the fuel sources and how depleted they are. I had a biologist tell me once that it's like the sagebrush is dying, and sagebrush doesn't die. Sagebrush can grow anywhere. That's how dry these fuels are. And they basically, these pinyon and juniper, these trees, a tree will look like a normal tree and it burns like toilet paper. It can start immediately. So when the wind's blowing on this fire, we have what's called spotting. That means that a spark, an ember gets blown on the wind, and it will have spot fires a mile to a mile and a half away. That means you're watching the front line of a fire, and a mile away you'll see another fire start, and you can't believe it. And so that's incredibly dangerous for our firefighters because you can get caught in between two fires. And so there's just not much direct attack that can happen on this fire because of those conditions, especially when the wind is blowing. We know winds are going to pick up on Friday and Saturday. We have high wind warnings now, 40 plus miles per hour, and so this is really tough. We have an incredible federal team that's coming in. Our locals have done everything they can to save lives and again save property. But what we're seeing now is devastating. And we've also had this in portions of our state before, but this is the first time that anyone can remember where the entire state, northern Utah, is as dry as southern Utah, eastern Utah is as dry as western Utah, and we're just seeing it on all corners.
Governor, I want to ask you about additional resources that could be coming in. I understand your administration has been in touch or will be in touch with FEMA. Can you touch on more resources that could be coming?
Yeah, so we filed what's called the FMAG with FEMA. It's been approved. This is we also had an FMAG filed on the Eureka fire, what we call the Iron Fire. That has been approved as well. So we have FEMA approval. That's good news. That will help pay for about 75% of the fire. Last year we opened up our fire resources. We have it's not a rainy day account. It's a non-rainy day account. It's a fire account where we've been building up. The legislature has been putting money aside so that we can help on these fires as well. We can also help with the post-fire mitigation, which is important. The fire is one thing, and eventually the fire will be put out. But then when it does rain, that's going to be devastating for the town of Beaver, because all of that ash, all of that mud, there's now nothing to hold the the sediment in place. That all runs down. It plugs up rivers, and drinking water can be affected as well. So we have money that's available for that. As far as resources to fight this fire, they've ordered everything that they can. The other problem that we have is all of our resources now. So we have state resources, and they're stretched as thin as possible. Okay. We've used them, we've burned them out. They've been working 24-hour days, all day, all night. On the Eureka fire, now we have this fire, we have other fires burning. We had a fire right above Salt Lake City as well. We had a fire in Utah County. What that means is that those guys, they can't do this 7 days a week, right? So on the Eureka fire, we had Layton Fire, who was in Eureka. Gunnison from Sanpete County was on the Eureka fire. That means there are fewer firefighters in Layton, and there's nobody in Gunnison left, because Gunnison only has volunteer firefighters, right? So that's stretched thin. Now we have the federal resources that are coming in, and we are the #1 priority. That's the good news. The Great Basin is the #1 priority, and this fire here in Beaver is the #1 priority in the Great Basin. However, there are other fires. There are fires in Nevada where they're starting to, other states are as dry as we are. We're starting to see those, which means our federal resources are going to get pulled thin. All of that is to say that 80% of the fires we've had so far this year are human caused, and everybody just has to be more careful than they've ever been before.
Governor, you say this is it could end up being the most destructive fire damage-wise in Utah history. I know assessments are going to be done tomorrow. Are we talking dozens of cabins, hundreds, the ski resort, Governor?
Yeah, so we know that there are hundreds of cabins on this mountain, hundreds of condos. And I can't speculate. All I can say is that this fire did not act like other fires, and it was almost impossible to protect those assets. So we'll get in there and see this. But I know that cabin owners, homeowners up there, condo owners, ski resort, they're all kind of expecting the worst, and that's very likely to be the case. Let me just put this into perspective. You'll remember the Monroe fire last year, just kind of outside of Richfield. It burned for, a couple months almost, and burned about 70,000 acres. In 48 hours, we burned almost 70,000 acres on this mountain. Now, again, we've had fires that burned 300,000 acres. I think it's the largest in the state's history, so we're a long ways from that. But right now, on the other side of the mountain where I'm headed next, we're headed over to make sure that we're protecting the Paiute side, Circleville, Junction, even Marysville now. They're on alert for potential evacuations. Protecting life first, property second, but there's no end in sight on this fire right now. There's no direct attack. It's just really trying to save everything that we can, and there's no timetable for how this will be put out. Mother Nature will have a lot to do with that, and we're hoping those monsoon days get here.
You mentioned the State Fire Fund. Given the projections for the fire season, how active it's going to be, are you concerned about money dwindling? And if so, is there a mechanism to rectify that?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned. We have a very healthy fire fund this year. I think 100 million. 120 million. So we've been building this up over the course of a decade for a year like this. It's exactly what it's for. When I was a county commissioner, we didn't have a fire fund like that, and so it was really tough. We had a fund, but it wasn't as good as this one. So that $120 million is going to get us throughout this year. We're just hoping and praying we don't have 2 years like this, right? Because we're going to have to start building that back up after we spend it this year.
Time for one more question.
Any other questions?
Yeah, heading to the other side now. Evacuations in place. That's something you want to tell Utahns with something like this, with as quickly as this one exploded, Governor. Be ready. Yeah.
So that's the other thing. I mean, I still don't know how they got everybody out up there. It was, if they hadn't assessed it immediately so they were on the fire in 5 minutes, guys. We had fire crews on the fire in 5 minutes, and it was known immediately that they couldn't stop it. So immediately they switched into evacuation mode. And here's why that was so important. They went up this canyon behind us. It's now burned out. Within an hour or so, that canyon was impassable because there were some rock slides that were caused by the fire burning trees and telephone poles, which meant that there was only one way out, which was the other side of the mountain. And they made a decision to evacuate immediately, not to wait, and that's what saved lives. I do know, again, a fire I was on several years ago where a guy said he was going to stay and he would leave if he had to, and we found him burned over in his car. That's just loss of life, catastrophic. If you're told to evacuate, don't screw around this year. It means that this thing can move. We've seen them move a mile or two in 5-10 minutes. That's how quickly it can just overtake you. So don't mess around. Please be safe out there. Please exercise extreme caution.